Welcome to the latest edition of On the Bench here at Columbus Wired. I'm Stephanie Greger here with Dave Seaman. Well, we're in the middle of the trade deadline and the race up to Monday's 3 p.m. deadline. And as promised, Scott Howson is looking at reshaping the team and doing so. He's gotten 2 big trades so far. Dave, let's talk a little bit about that. What was the first one that went down?
Well, Wednesday, the Blue Jackets trading Antoine Vermette to Phoenix for 2 draft picks and a backup goaltender, or I should say an AHL goaltender. Again, at this time of the year, you're looking at what you can get for assets. And in this particular case, you're getting a chance to get a second-round draft pick this June in the June draft, the 5th round next year. It's all about adding pieces. I think one of the big things about the Blue Jackets organization is adding prospects. You know, we're really thin, or the Blue Jackets are really thin in that. So adding pieces of the puzzle. And who knows, these could be picks that get moved as we still have 3 days till the deadline.
Absolutely, and in that time span, of course, Jeff Carter has gotten traded to the LA Kings, and in return, we got Jack Johnson. Jack he was at the Colorado Avalanche game, and he came in. He had his plaid shirt on. He's a Midwestern boy, and he said as much. Interesting thing about Jack. What kind of fan is he, Dave?
Well, he's not a fan. He went to Michigan.
I know.
We don't like Michigan fans, and we don't like Michigan Wolverines, but obviously there's going to be some friendly banter between him and RJ Umberger, if indeed RJ is still here come Monday. But this was, in my opinion, this was a great move for the Blue Jackets. You get rid of Jeff Carter, a guy who didn't really want to be in Columbus at all. And I think that as the season progressed, you saw that more and more and more. He's out on the ice, and yeah, sure, he had a hat trick Tuesday night against San Jose, but other nights he just kind of sleepwalked through games. And, you know, to get Jack Johnson, who's a bona fide top 4 defenseman, to get LA's first round pick either in 2012 or 2013, nationally people say LA got the better end of this deal. I think Columbus got the better end of the deal. Plus, you know, Jeff Carter's under contract for 10 years with a big $5.5 million cap hit. Jack Johnson, I believe it's a 7 or 8 year contract, and his cap hit's only like 4.7. So it's getting some money back. It's getting us back under the cap. It gives the Blue Jackets, it gives Scott Howson a chance to really have some flexibility with the cap.
Absolutely. And one of the interesting things that he said during the press conference to announce Jeff Carter's trade was that at the time he's not actively pursuing a new goalie. Thoughts on that?
You know, I think it's a situation where time is here. The time is here. You have to let Steve Mason go. You know, this is the reason why the Blue Jackets are in this mess. Quite honestly, Steve Mason is not the same player he was when he won the Calder Trophy and it took the team to the playoffs. And even when the Blue Jackets made the playoffs, he lost 7 straight games at the end of the season. Maybe he ran out of gas, maybe not. It's been 3 seasons. It's time to cut the ties. Yes, he has brilliant games one night, then he gives up 5 goals against Colorado on Friday night. So I think the time has come, and, you know, we have Curtis Sanford. He's healthy. He'll probably start Sunday in Pittsburgh. You got to move the guy.
Yeah, I think just to add a little bit of depth to that, and instead of just saying that we have to move Mason, I mean, I think there's just a couple of things that we need to note. Number one, the defense in front of Mason has not always been solid or stellar, and having to play under that kind of defense over that length of time, I think would wear a goaltender down, number one. And number two, now we're bringing in new defense. I think it's worth waiting to see if, you know, Jack Johnson and James Wisniewski paired on a line together might actually help a little bit. Having said that, I mean, he hasn't really bounced back. He had those 8 straight losses at the beginning of the season. He didn't have relief. It's, what do you do? I mean, do you wait and see if something happens, or do you go ahead and cut your losses and start over? And I think that's where Howson's at right now.
Well, and again, how many chances do you give the guy? Right. I mean, you are affecting this team. You know, I've said this before, and I think we mentioned it the last time. If the Blue Jackets had better goaltending, and we didn't have the injuries that we've had this year, we wouldn't be in this situation. We'd probably be, 10 wins better than what we are right now. We'd be right in the playoff hunt. And instead, we're sellers. And the reality is the makeup of this team is going to significantly change, whether it happens between now and Monday or in the postseason or in the off season. You're going to see a significantly different team when the Blue Jackets take the ice in the fall.
Yeah, and now we've had, obviously, Vermette and Carter have been traded. There are some names on the list that are coming up. We've seen some rumors out there about Derek Brassard and Derek McKenzie. What are you thinking right now as the deadline is approaching in just 3 days?
I don't think there's an untouchable on this team. I mean, if Scott Howson is saying, hey, you know what, Rick Nash is available, And I know, and it's been reported that he had a deal in place to send him to Los Angeles, and Rick Nash vetoed the trade. That is the right he has. I think that the relationship between the Blue Jackets and Rick Nash now is probably a little strained, and at some point he will have to be moved. Not probably a popular decision here in Columbus, but it may not happen in the next 3 days or, between now and the trade deadline. I think more likely if it does happen, it's going to be at the draft. Here's a chance to maybe go out and, if the Blue Jackets end up with the number 1 pick, and then an opportunity to trade Nash, maybe bring in a player and get the 3rd or the 4th or the 5th pick, you're in business.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Nash is necessary. I don't know how much of a strained relationship there is between Nash and the Blue Jackets. Nash has always been respectful of the organization and its leaders, and same back to Nash. I mean, there's been a great respect there. I think the issue with Nash is he, as a personal career goal, he wants to be on a winning team, and that's where he's coming from. And he understands also that Columbus fans want to have a winning team here, and he knows he's the biggest asset to get what we need here. And I think there's a little bit of give and take there between Nash and management.
And there's no reason why we can't win in Columbus. There is no reason why. We saw it 3 years ago when the team made the playoffs. And like I said, if you have a good starting goaltender, I mean, when you look at the fact that you bring Johnson in and you've got Wisniewski and you've got Nikitin and Teutin, you've got your top 4 defensemen are solid. Now you've got 4 other guys competing for those last two spots. It's competition. Competition is good. I think the Blue Jackets are going to have one of the better defenses in the league once we fix the back end, and that starts with goaltending.
I agree, and we're going to see a lot of changes come, and Howson has promised that. He's promised for reshaping of the team. He was very careful, too, to use the terminology reshaping as opposed to rebuilding, which was an interesting choice of words, but then again, I think he's saying that there's less of a nuclear option at this point. I think that's what his point was with using reshaping as opposed to that.
But think about the minor tweaks he's made this year. Trading for Nikitin, trading for Letestu. These are guys that have come from winning teams, and they want to win. And I think you're bringing in Johnson. He wants to win. He said it after the Colorado game. I don't like to win, or I don't like to lose. These are the type of guys, him, Wisniewski, Vinny Prospel, these are the kind of guys that needs to be a part of changing the culture of this team. And speaking of culture, you had a chance to talk to Todd Richards this week, and that is something that you had a chance to talk to him about, changing the culture of this team.
Yeah, I did. I had a really great conversation with Coach Richards, interim Coach Richards for the moment, which is important because one of the things that he talked about was he sort of empathizes with his players right now. Richards is auditioning for his role too, and he said he viewed his time right now with the Blue Jackets as a sort of interview for next season, which he's going through the same sort of struggle that his team is, and he's trying to keep some stability in the room, and that has been his number one focus, bringing the fun and bringing the stability, and that's where the team is at right now. They know that change is coming, they know that big things are happening, and so what they're focused on is just trying to keep things as normal as possible until it's all over with at the trade deadline.